4, 3, 2, 1. And we are live. So, all the Toastmasters in the meeting who are not members of Quantum Leap, but present in the meeting, please be ready to be assigned at any role at any point in time. With that, again, let me welcome you to our meeting. As we all know, Quantum Leap is an advanced club. And what is an advanced club? An advanced club has certain rules and regulations. Either an advanced club accepts members with a certain level of experience, or in absence of that, it has some other things that make it stand out. For example, its style of evaluations. So Quantum Leap is also a themed club. It's Pakistan's first themed club. It is centered around science and technology, sci-fi, and fantasy, and everything that comes in between. So this is the only club where we are proud to be geeks and we celebrate our geekhood. So I see a lot of guests here. In fact, there are only 2 members and everyone else is a guest. So what a rich tapestry we have today. Starting with our keynote speaker, Awais Bhatt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, good morning, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Awais Mohammad Bhatt, and I am a recent PhD from Colorado School of Mines, USA. I have done my PhD in underground excavation and tunnel engineering, and I defended in May, came back to Pakistan, I think a week after my defense, and then I am planning in a few weeks to join NUST, civil engineering wing. Right now, I'm just say getting familiar with all the Pakistani culture and everything, I guess. So I did my master's there as well. So I left for my master's in 2017, finished it in 2019, immediately started my PhD from 19, finished it in 2024 May. In the meantime, in that duration, I was only able to visit Pakistan once, unfortunately because of COVID and the lockdown and me being busy with the studies as well. So I am getting I am familiarizing myself with a lot of the things which are different between Pakistan and USA, and I'm trying to remember how things run here and everything. So yeah, so that's about me. I am from Karachi. I am born in Karachi. My school is Nasra Secondary School, intermediate from the DJ Singh Government Science College, and yeah, that's about me.
Great to have you, Wes. Great to have you. And again, honored to have such an individual among us. Toastmaster Najam Rizvi is my mentor, but I imagine many other people would not know about him. So, sir, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, DTM Talha. My name is Najam Rizvi, and my initial club was the Karachi Toastmasters Club. Subsequently, when Karachi Toastmasters was formed, I became a member of Karachi Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmasters for almost 2 decades. By profession, I'm a banker, though retired right now. The reason I actually joined today was to hear Awais Bhatt talk about geothermal energy, because energy is one of my favorite topics. I read a lot about it. Though I'm not an engineer, but it's an interest that I follow regularly. And I'd really like to hear what Awais has to say on this subject.
Great. So no pressure. No pressure, Awais. Toastmaster Augustine Gill needs no introduction, but as is customary in a Toastmaster meeting, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha. It's an honor to be with all you, and I'm struggling to improve myself day by day. So I found this forum very nice to sharpen my skills. I'm a professional manager by profession, and by passion, I'm a Toastmaster since 2020. And Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Talha, I have invited a guest, Masam Hazar from Qatar, Islamabad. So many more are on the line. So take care. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Augustine. Yes, we know Mason very well. He's very familiar to us uh, since he's spoken, I think, twice at Karachi Toastmasters. And I think at this club too, or maybe word-wise, he's spoken there. So Toastmaster Mason, please introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. As you all, most of you know me, my name is Misam Heather, and I'm working at Contour Software as a technical writer and a business analyst. And this is the first time I'm joining this meeting, this club, but I would definitely identify myself as a fiction geek. So I'm really excited to be here.
Great to have you. And yes, if we do have the time, if we do well by the timing, we will also have a Geek of the Week session. So Toastmaster Mason, if you would like to showcase a fiction book or a sci-fi book or movie, would you like to do it today? Introduce our audience to it for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Okay, great. So communicate to me via private message what you plan to introduce, right? And we'll host the Geek of the Week session and we'll have it with you, which will be after the keynote and before the prepared. All right?
Thank you.
Okay. Toastmaster Samreen Akhtar Chaftai. Please introduce us.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. This is Samreen Akhtar Chaftai. I am a software tester in Islamabad in Contour, and I have a team of testers. We write code to test code. So that's what I introduce myself as, and according to your theme or theme of the club, I find myself a little relatable, a little or more geeky, because I love to write EMV cards on machines. So we create EMV cards and we communicate in bad devices. So that's something we love to do, and I consider myself a little geeky as well. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, great! If you're a geek, you have a free pass to attend this club's meeting forever as a guest or as a member. That's entirely up to you. But this club is for geeks by geeks, and it celebrates people. So again, and it's great to see how again every week we attract like-minded audience. Last but not the least, DDM Irfan Farooqi. Sir, your introduction is in order.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Irfan Farooqi. I'm distinguished Toastmaster from Lahore. I'm working with the Century Paper and Board Mills Limited. So far as Quantum Leap is concerned, I'm not very much related with the physical sciences because I'm a man from the management side, but contrasts are always good. So that's why I try to hear and listen from the physical sciences people, try to do something in that area as well. But mostly it is just a combination of the two dimensions. I'm from the management side. Thank you, Tala.
But DTM Irfan Farooqi fits the bill of a mad scientist that we have seen in movies because his rooftop is his lab. And every few weeks, there's a new project going on there, and we get to learn about it. So yeah, he has that persuasion as well. So without further ado, let's go with the meeting proper. And Toastmaster Nirab, if you can introduce your role as grammarian.
As grammarian for today, I'll be looking out for the usages, the language, and I'll be noting out down the good usages. As well, I will see if I can suggest any improvement to the words or phrasing of certain words and sentences. That's my role. At the end of the meeting, I will be giving my report without mentioning who said what.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najim. And just a heads up, we also need a table topics master later in the meeting. So anybody who'd like to step up, you're more than welcome. So today, the theme of the meeting also is the gold beneath our feet. And if we look at our surroundings, there's so much visible to us, but 100 million times is invisible to us. Why is that? Because if you look at the visible spectrum of light, we discover that we can see only a tiny fraction of what really constitutes light. And that's, for me at least, that's a very, very intriguing thing, because that means that most of reality is invisible to us. And linking that to something that is actually creating a lot of waves, literally, James Webb Space Telescope. Do you know how is it the most effective telescope in the history of humankind, and how is it making so many discoveries that were not known till now? Because it's not seeing in visible light. It's seeing in infrared. If you look at the humans, if you look at the entire light spectrum, gamma rays, X-rays, ultrasonic, infrared, radar, FM, TV, shortwave, AM, and look at the fraction which is actually visible to us. And who knows what is lurking in that invisible spectrum? Who knows? There are ghosts or angels or supernatural beings. Then there's also another limitation, and that is that we can only perceive the world in 3 dimensions. But even that is a lie. You know why is that? Because each of our eyes sees in 2 dimensions. We can only see 2-dimensional images, and the eyes combine to make it an artificial 3-dimensional image. We don't really perceive in 3D. So that means that we can perceive more than 3 dimensions. Maybe there are other dimensions, but they will be far beyond our perception. Imagine an entity living in a 2-dimensional world. And the 2-dimensional world is like a piece of paper, like this. Only length and breadth, right? So they won't be able to venture beyond it, because they will be living on this plane forever. Anything that's in the 3rd dimension right here, it will be invisible to them. Similarly, if anything is in a 4th spatial dimension or 5th spatial dimension, that will be invisible to us. Another world that is invisible to us is what lies beneath our feet. Now, we've all seen and heard throughout our childhood that the earth is like an apple. It has a core and mantle and then surface. And every time there's new discovery. Did you really know that? And I think Wes can correct me on that. Did you really know that nobody has really seen and nobody really knows for sure what is inside the earth? Because our instruments cannot reach to the core. They fail beyond the first few kilometers. And after that, it's mostly guesswork or other techniques that are used. But we don't know for sure. Nobody's gone 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers or right to the Earth's core. It's just our theory. And ironically, we seem to know more about the composition and structure of other planets and other stars simply because we are detecting their infrared wavelengths, and we are detecting what may be inside them. So that's another big gray area, some of which we will explore today. So it is my honor and privilege to welcome someone who is a very learned person. He has, as we just heard, he secured his PhD from USA, and he has come here back to Pakistan to actually share his knowledge and expertise. So Wes is a lot of things, but he's also okay. He's also a student of Toastmaster Imran Rao. I don't know how proud he is of that, but Imran is surely proud. So, without further ado,
No, no,
let's
no.
put up.
If he nailed it today, then he's my best student. If he did not, I don't know him.
Okay. So no, don't
That's
put
what I
undue
expect
pressure.
from my teacher, Imran Rana.
That's exactly according to form, right? That's exactly what Imran is. So you're not surprised of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyhow, Wes, your keynote length will be how long it's planned to be?
So I prepared like a very so simplistic short. I did not have a lot of time because I was working on
Mhm.
a site in Kashmir for the whole week. I just came back
Right.
last night, and I tried to like gather some information up. So it should be around 12 to 13 minutes. And
Okay, fine.
and then we can open the floor for question answers, and I would be glad if like you all can ask questions, whatever comes to your mind. It's okay, but it would be
Sure.
great.
Okay. Okay, OS, I'm raising my virtual hand so that my window is visible to you. That will show
Yes.
you the time. Okay.
So
The
I'm the
green.
timer, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, you are the
it
timer.
goes like 15 minutes of keynote speech and then 5 minutes of Q&A, right?
Yeah. So 13, 14, 15, you can show green at 13, yellow at 14, and red at 15, right? And then we open the floor for 5 to 10 minutes of question and answers. So everyone, please put your hands together for Awais Muhammad Pak, the gold beneath our feet.
My screen, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible, Awais.
Okay. So the topic of today's talk is the gold beneath our feet. It's a topic which I find really, really fascinating. Like before I went to US, I saw like solar and all this solar panel and solar energy. It was not that common 7 years ago as it is today. But like I had no idea about this. So my research was somewhat related to this topic, and today I would like to share what that research was in a very simplistic way. It will not be very technical. So let's get on with it. So renewable energy has been on everybody's mind lately in the complete world, and for good reason. We are talking about energy sources that not only keep the lights on, but also help protect our planet. Now, there are various types of these renewable energies. First up, we have got solar energy. It's like using the sun to cook your eggs in the morning without being them sticky, burnt mess. The sun's been shining for billions of years over our Earth, and we have only recently figured out how to turn its rays into electricity. It's clean, it's free. Well, once you've got the panels installed. And unlike fossil fuels, it doesn't spew out nasty fumes. Next, there is wind energy. That is Mother Nature's breath in full force. Imagine harnessing the sheer power of the wind to fuel entire cities. Wind turbines don't mind bad hair days, neither do I. They just stand tall, spin, and generate clean energy while helping reduce pollution. And then there's hydropower, probably one of the oldest renewable energy source in the book. It's like using the river's natural flow to power your blender. Hydropower plants capture the energy of moving water, whether from rivers or dams, and convert it into electricity. The best part, as long as the water keeps flowing, we have got power, making it one of the reliable renewable resources. And that brings us to geothermal energy, which I believe is the unsung hero of renewable energy. At the Earth's core, it's super duper hot. We humans have figured out how to use this natural heat. We drill down into the earth, kind of like poking a straw into a coconut, and let the water or steam come up to the surface. Once it's up here, we use that heat to spin the turbines and generate electricity. This geothermal energy is like that bottomless cup of coffee you dream of on a Monday morning, except it's hotter, it's sitting right under your feet, and the best part, it never runs out. A study by MIT estimates that the Earth's geothermal energy could theoretically cover the world's energy need for billions of years. Billions of years. It's like having a free heater that runs 24/7 without ever complaining about electricity bill or needing a break. But why is geothermal energy so amazing compared to other renewable energy sources? First, it's incredibly consistent. Unlike solar energy, which only works when the sun is shining, or the wind energy, which requires, well, wind, the geothermal energy is always on. This makes it an incredibly dependable energy source, perfect for providing a constant supply without the peaks and troughs you get with solar and wind. Second, geothermal energy is incredibly efficient. When you set up a geothermal plant, it doesn't take up a vast amount of space, unlike solar farms that can sprawl across miles of land or wind turbine that can dot the landscape. Geothermal plants have a very, very small footprint, but they can pack a punch in terms of the energy output. And while the initial setup may be a bit costly with geothermal, once everything is in place, geothermal is extremely cheap to maintain. So now let's bring it closer to home. Pakistan, with its incredible geological diversity, is sitting on what I like to call a geothermal gold mine. Many geothermal hot springs and mud volcanoes, including some of the world's tallest, are found within Pakistan's seismic belt. The presence of these geological features can be exploited to produce abundant clean energy. In this regard, Sindh and Balochistan have lots of untapped potential for geothermal energy. Overall, the potential for geothermal energy in Pakistan is enormous. We have got mountains, volcanic regions, and hot springs. Basically, all the geological ingredients we need to tap into this natural resource. It's like having an unlimited supply of power right beneath our feet. But here, where it gets funny and a little weird as well. If you ever visited one of the Pakistan
Oasis is muted right now.
Yes, I think he is frozen. Maybe he got disconnected. So let's wait. Meanwhile, let me welcome DTM Sudarshan and Toastmaster Abid Ali Habib. Welcome to the meeting. We were just engrossed in this keynote, and right at the worst possible time, it The connection froze. So let's wait for Awais to come back.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tala. It's an honor that I'm again attending the meeting after a long time, and inshallah, I will fully enjoy, I hope so, my weekend.
So you also have to give your icebreaker, by the way. I meant to message you today, but it's a good thing that you joined this meeting. So
I think you should call him.
yeah. Wait, can you call him, Imran?
I am connected with mobile data. My internet is not.
Oh, okay. Hey, Awais is back.
So I'm really sorry for that. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. So yes, you can continue now.
Okay. So where was I? Because I didn't know when there was no internet. I think it's back to Pakistan.
You were
You were
tapping in Balochistan.
yes.
Okay.
Is it possible to turn on your video?
Oh, yes. Can you see me?
Yes, clearly.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. So in this regard, Sindh and Balochistan have lots of untapped potential for geothermal energy. Overall, the potential for geothermal energy in Pakistan is enormous. We have got mountains, volcanic regions, and hot springs. Basically, all the geological ingredients we need to tap into this natural resource. It's like having an unlimited supply of power right beneath our feet, but here where it's getting funny and a little weird. If you ever visited one of Pakistan's hot springs, you know that people have been enjoying this geothermal heat for centuries. They bathe in the hot water, which is naturally heated by the earth, and some even claim it has magical healing properties. I mean, there are people selling this hot spring water in bottles, calling it miracle water, which can treat everything from back pain to bad luck. Now, I'm not saying that water doesn't feel amazing. It does. It definitely does. But maybe it's time that we stop using this energy for a quick soak and think bigger. Instead of bottling it up to cure headaches, let's tap into the same geothermal energy to power our homes, schools, and hospitals. After all, it's already flowing. Why not put it to better use? The potential to harness this energy in Pakistan would completely transform our energy landscape. Not only would we reduce our reliance on imported fuels, but we'd also cut down on pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. And given the environmental challenges we are facing today, that's just not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's like we have been sitting on a solution to our energy problems for centuries without even realizing it. And all we need to do is dig a little deeper, literally and figuratively, and unlock the treasures that's been under our noses or under our feet all along. So how do we get and unlock this geothermal treasure? That's where hydraulic fracturing, or as we like to call fracking, comes into play. Now I know what you all are thinking. Fracking, isn't that the thing that causes all the controversy? And yeah, it's true, fracking has been a topic of heated debates, but when done responsibly, it's like using a special key to unlock the Earth's hidden energy vault. Think of hydraulic fracturing as a polite way of convincing the Earth to give up its energy secret. Kind of like asking your grandma for her famous cookie recipe. Only instead of the cookies, we are tapping into this hot water and steam that can power entire cities. So now we know how. Now the important thing is to understand how we can know what's happening deep within the Earth's surface. Because as Tala pointed out during our initial talk, that it's very difficult to understand because we cannot see it. It's kilometers deep underground. So in that case, this is the case where seismic monitoring and its analysis comes in. Think of it like this. When my wife tells me to listen, it's not just about hearing the words, it's about understanding what's really going on. And trust me, it's in my best interest to pay attention. Well, seismic monitoring also works in a similar way. It listens to the earth, picking up tiny seismic signals that tells us exactly how the fracturing process is working and how these tiny fractures will contribute to extracting the thermal energy. By monitoring, by understanding, it's like eavesdropping on the Earth's conversation, making sure everything's going according to plan. With seismic monitoring and responsible fracking, we can safely tap into the geothermal energy, transforming it into reliable, sustainable power source. And in places especially like Pakistan, where we are sitting on geothermal hotspots, this technology would be a game changer. Instead of relying on imported fuels or harmful fossil energy, we could power our homes and industries with clean, green energy straight from the Earth's core. Now let's get philosophical for a moment. What does all this have to do with human nature? Well, just as we humans are constantly seeking ways to improve ourselves, the Earth has been quietly providing us all along. Geothermal energy is like that hidden talent you didn't know you had until one day you pick up a guitar and you realize you are a rock star. The earth has been storing this energy for us, and all we have to do is to look a little deeper to find it. And isn't that just like us humans? We have this incredible ability to find solutions, to adapt, and to thrive even in the most challenging circumstances. Geothermal energy is a testament to that spirit, a reminder that the answers we seek are often right beneath our feet. So let's embrace this gift from Mother Earth and in doing so, create a brighter, cleaner, and more sustainable future for ourselves and generations. Geothermal energy, hydraulic fracturing, and microseismic monitoring are more than just scientific concepts, they are opportunities. And as Albert Einstein said, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. These are the opportunities to harness the earth energy to reduce our environmental footprint, where the energy is clean, reliable, and let's face it, it's pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aves. That was really eye-opening. And since Toastmaster Cyril Paul, our resident champion of puns, is here, I would dare to say that you help point out what's right under our noses, literally. Source of free and sustainable energy. So now, everyone, the floor is open for question and answers. And anyone who wishes to ask a question, please raise your virtual hand. And Owen, I would like to start with a question of my own. Yes, Toastmaster Najim, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Yes, I'd like
Sure.
to ask Wes, we know about geothermal energy for quite some time. I know at least the last 5 decades, we know that geothermal energy exists and it can be exploited. But if you compare geothermal energy with wind energy and solar power, you find that probably the use of geothermal is the least. Obviously, there are challenges which have prevented this usage of geothermal energy. So what are these challenges and what is the new technology that can help us overcome this technology, this impediment and make it cost efficient, because everything at the end of the day is based on what is the cost.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. So I'll start with this. So I know means we see a lot of solar panels on like literally every roof nowadays in Pakistan. And there was this study done, and I believe some of you might know, like if you can power 1 square kilometer area of Sahara Desert with solar, I'll start with that. Means they had that concept. If you can power that 1 square meter of that Sahara Desert, because it's one of the warmest places in the earth, so you can get energy for the whole world. They had that concept, they tried to materialize it, but then they understood there are a lot of problems and we cannot do it on this scales. And still, that I believe that project is still in the concept stage. So there are some problems with solar, but so the problem is that so somebody like made a comment, I saw a video, energy is the most misunderstood renewable energy. It's because, as Tala pointed out, we cannot see it. First, we cannot see it. It's deep. We can see the sun, we can see the wind, but we cannot see this form coming out of deep underground. One of the biggest challenge to that is that so you have to drill like 5 at high temperature, which can be useful. So that high temperature is useful for generating or making that process completely efficient. So when you try to drill it, the initial like going 5 to 10 kilometers, it's very difficult. First, it's very difficult. It's very hard. As you go deeper, you find more and more hard rock. It gets more and more difficult to drill a straight hole down. And then you have to drill another hole. So this is a very capital intensive job. And means countries like developed countries like USA or European countries like Switzerland, which are spearheading this geothermal revolution, they can spend that amount of money. Even like at the end of the day, they don't come up with like a viable solution, or it's not efficient, it's not providing you with a lot of benefit, they can sustain it. But for countries like Pakistan and other countries, like it's very difficult to invest in a technique in which you don't know like whether it will be like whether it will be cost beneficial or whether it is feasible to do it. So what I believe is the biggest hurdle uh, in the geothermal is that we have not put in enough effort till now to make it efficient, to understand what's really going on beneath the earth so we can have complete control over this geothermal operation. if we know about it, if we have control, then we can control this, and then like this system will become like much more efficient and cost efficient and sustainable. And but there's another point which I would like to highlight here as well. Like, I don't know means if you have been following like Switzerland. What they do is when they are making a house, even in US, I saw this in few homes, not very common, but in Switzerland it's very common. Whenever they are making like a new house. So what they do is they lay down pipes 5 to 6 feet below the ground, and water circulates in those pipes. And they have got a heat pump in the house. So what happens is that when you start going underground, after like 5 to 10 feet, depending upon where you are in the earth, the temperature becomes constant. So
I think there is a disconnection. Let's wait for a few seconds. Yeah, he's back.
you can hear me, right?
Yes, you were frozen for a few seconds.
Yeah, means like that. Yeah, I'm trying to use my hotspot.
Ironically, as soon as you mentioned a constant temperature,
Okay.
you froze.
Constant. So in short, let me summarize it. Means I think I did not identify them clearly. First is we have not done a lot of research, so we are not confident. In places like Iceland, where the tectonic plates where they are meeting are much closer to the ground surface, it's much easier to extract this geothermal energy. But in places where those like which are not like very which are not the hotspots, it can get difficult to extract this energy. So there is a need to put research, a lot of funding in it, so we can truly understand how this process goes. And so it's ultimately about the control. Like, if we can understand and if we can control this complete operation, then it will be feasible.
I think that was a great answer. We need to really put more effort and research into commercializing geothermal energy compared to the other modes that we've been investing. So Toastmaster Cyril has a question. Over to you, Toastmaster Cyril.
Hi, thank you, TBH. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Lovely,
You could
splendid.
speak a little louder though. Yeah.
Yes, I missed part of this keynote. I'm so sorry. I think I should have signed in a little earlier, but it's been whatever little that I've heard, it's fantastic. Here's my question. Part of it you answered in the earlier one, but when you compare stuff with, when you're drilling down and all of this, there's a lot of creation of infrastructure involved, vis-a-vis when you're setting something up like a wind farm. How cost beneficial is this is one question. And the more curious question that I have is, we talk about climate change, how the earth is heating up. So due to our own bad habits, are we able to produce more energy via geothermal energy? Is that happening, or just because the Earth's crust is heating up?
I think, yeah, the part of your question, I think Najam also asked the same question as well. Like, when you compare it to solar, so solar has this two drawbacks, I believe. Once, like I was just talking to a cousin in Rawalpindi, and he was saying like the weather has been cloudy for the past 7 to 8 days, and they are not able to generate the solar energy, right? So you cannot control it. It's not sustainable, it's not continuous, means you have no control over it if it's cloudy. And it's not for all the places, because not all the places are hot or as sunny as Pakistan. So we have to come up with a solution which can be applicable to the complete world. So, and the other thing is, so if you think of a larger scale, so you can say, like, for solar, you have to deploy a huge number of solar panels. If you have seen any of the solar farms, it's on kilometers. So you occupy a lot of space. With this geothermal, you just need two holes, which can be like one hole, which can only be like 10 inches or 12 inches wide into the ground. That's it. And you need another hole as a production hole, which can be like 500 meters away, depending upon the connection between them, to extract that hot steam water which is coming, and that goes into the steam turbine and generate electricity. So as far as environmental footprint goes, it is much smaller, and this climate change, it does not affect the geothermal at all, because geothermal is coming from the Earth's core, it's coming out. What we are doing from climate change is going from outside to within, and it's more of like a surface phenomenon. It's happening around the Earth's atmosphere. Just this geothermal energy is like you have got a very hot molten core, and the heat is coming out. So as you go farther from the core, the temperature at the core is about 5,500 degrees Celsius, which is almost the same as sun. But as you move away from it, it starts reducing. And when you are like only 5 to 10 kilometers deep from like the surface of the earth, it's about 200, 300, 400 degrees Celsius, depending upon definitely which part of the crust, like either they are tectonic faults over there or not. It can vary a little bit, but it's like that. And what was the other part of your question, I guess? Or did I answer both?
Cost
You have,
effective.
Yeah, the competitive.
I think
I'll
you have
probably read
answered.
it up. Well, let's have Toastmaster Samreen's question answered. She's been waiting for a while.
Yes, Toastmaster Sandeep, go ahead.
So I have a question. According to the human nature, we overdo everything. We have overdone all the fossil fuels extraction. We have overdone the solar panel, which has changed the climate. So I have a question that if we overdo this, are we going to disrupt the Earth's ecosystem?
I think
Yes,
Wes, yeah, let's wait for him to come back. Okay. But I think, again, my answer will be tested once Wes rejoins. But I think this reserve of energy is too great to be even, we cannot even come remotely close to exhausting even 1% of this energy reserve if we tap it properly. Unlike fossil fuels, of course, but I think this energy reserve beneath the earth, it's on a planetary scale, right? Just like we cannot exhaust all the water in the world, no matter how much we use due to the water cycle. I think this is also something similar, but let's see. Let's wait for Awais to come back. And meanwhile, everyone else, please line up your questions as well.
I'm truly sorry for that. It's like internet is crazy, and especially in Risalpur, it's difficult. So yeah,
No
I
issues,
totally
Awais. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I was just asking Cyril, like whether I answered the questions or.
Cyril, has your question been answered? I think it has
Yeah, the
been,
main
right?
one has been, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I guess so that's some question.
So,
Samreen, can you
my
repeat
question.
your question?
Yeah, I can repeat that. So, knowing the humans, we overdo everything. We have overdone the fossil fuels, we have overdone the solar panels, which have changed the climate. So it's an early question, but what if we disrupt the Earth's ecosystem with this constant drilling? I'm being pessimistic.
Okay, let me answer it by saying again that study that MIT did. So if I'm talking safely, and means these are just theoretical estimates. So if we use that energy, like 0.1% energy which is emitting from the Earth's core, if we are able to tap into that only 0.1 energy, that is sufficient for 1,000,000 years or something, the whole planet.
Okay, thank you so much, Awais,
Energy.
because that actually validates my answer word for word almost. while you were offline, I ventured this answer to Samreen, and I said to everyone that let's see what OS says. So thank you so much. I couldn't
Even
be.
if we tap point one
Yeah.
and after billion years, who knows where we are? So I don't think it's going to affect us in a long term. That's why it is the most greenest, most sustainable. But if we are able to extract it efficiently, because until now the US is spending, like I was part of one of the project which the Department of Energy USA is doing. They have invested around 50 to 60 million dollars in a research which is solely focused on how to extract this geothermal energy cost effectively and sustainably. Like, because when you go 5 kilometers deep underground, and if you want to establish a connection between two holes which are like 5 kilometers deep, it can get very difficult, and you don't know what is happening, as Tala pointed out. Like, you have no idea. This seismic monitoring can help you to some extent, but again, you need to have a redundant system because you are thinking about only using this thing to power. So I believe in the future, the energy, like the use of fossil fuel will reduce, especially for our energy needs. They might not be like completely eliminated from the equation, but I think a more redundant system involves like some of solar, some of wind, some of geothermal, so that we have a sustainable like sources of energy. But like I believe there is still a lot of effort, and people should like invest more in this option as well, because it's right beneath our feet. Like, so, and there is like, as we can say, like not infinite, nothing is infinite, I believe, but it's like a limitless, as far as we think, it's limitless source of energy which is available to us.
Great. I think Samreen, your question was answered, right?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Anyone who has a question, please raise your hand.
Question before my net goes like blind again.
I think we got all the answers. Thank you so much, Awais. It was an astounding keynote because I think for the first time at Quantum Leap, this has actually been explored. This topic, this particular topic. We've talked about energy a lot. We've talked about even the need for finding a sustainable source of energy, and only a few weeks ago, I gave a pseudo-scientific keynote because I'm not a scientist. I just rely on what I read and hear and a tiny bit of research. But the whole idea was that we are like aliens on this planet. We are not. This planet will not last as long as we are on it, because we'll make sure to destroy it. Since we haven't found a sustainable source of energy, we continue to flail around with electricity has to come from somewhere, right? It's not raining down from the sky. And then we're still too dependent on fossil fuels. And our other ideas about sustainability also are pathetic, because switching to paper bags, switching to paper straws, switching to cloth bags, these are all completely idiotic fantasies. Because imagine what if every person on the planet started using cloth bags? What if every person on the planet started using paper straws? Where would you grow the trees or the crops to actually sustain this? So that's all. And electric cars, by the way, they are such a tiny fraction of the whole energy footprint that Earth needs. But I think your keynote gives great hope. There is a source of energy right beneath our feet that is cheaper than solar energy, potentially more efficient as well, right? And available everywhere, not subject to clouds. Because as soon as we installed solar in our house, Karachi has been the cloudiest city on the planet. So much so that every 2 or 3 days, the battery backup completely dies, right? And it takes a whole lot of clouds for that to happen. But Karachi is that city right now. So I'm glad to learn of a solution that's not dependent upon sunlight. So with that, thank you so much, Awais. Try to stay for the rest of the meeting. I think it has been eye-opening for all of us. Anybody who wishes to share their comments about the keynote, please feel free to do so right now. Okay, Imran, what are your comments about the keynote?
I can now proudly say that he is my best student.
Yes. Anyone else who'd like to share their thoughts? Yes, Nadam sir.
It was wonderful to participate in this meeting and to hear OS. I hope that he can come occasionally again and update us on these developments and the work that he's doing in Pakistan in regard to solar, geothermal, or any other things. You know, he has a vast field, obviously. He's a tunnel engineer, basically, as I understand. So I hope you enjoy your work in Pakistan and you don't go back for a while. That's all.
That's my hope is. So with regards to geothermal, so I am already planning to submit a proposal to explore the feasibility of geothermal in Pakistan. I believe, yeah, means I get scared about the internet. Like after 2 minutes, I come to know like, oh, I'm not connected. So like I'm planning to submit a proposal. There have been studies. There is a nice firm, even though to me yet they are doing the same thing as I pointed out in US and Switzerland before the house construction. They are deploying pipes and they got a nice I think innovation award back in 2021 from Pakistan government as well. But I think they were unable to sustain at that moment in time. I don't know if they're active or not, but there are plans regarding doing more work in geothermal. There is like some international feasibility or companies involved as well who are trying to explore the Pakistan's geothermal potential. Let's hope for the best. Means in the current scenario, yes, it's a bit difficult to talk about renewable and everything when we are not even like, so it's difficult, but let's not don't get hopeless. I'm not getting hopeless at least. So solar is I think like it has been like what I can say is it has been promoted so much that like okay, when you get solar, like even Tala was like inspired by that promotion. Okay, I will install it fortnight and I will get free energy for the rest of my life, and like unlucky since then. So I think it has been promoted, and I mean solar is good, but I don't think
Always,
solar is the ultimate solution.
you spoke so much that you don't consider the time as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah,
Sorry. If you have any
to
question,
to answer
let me type in my email. So
yes, sure.
just let me type. I might not be able to stay for the complete session, but here is my email.
And
Okay.
Toastmaster Legend, don't worry, we're trying to get him to sign up for membership, and that will enable him to be part of the club roster and then not come to meetings at all. Just like most Quantum Leap members today. But anyhow, I'm just kidding. We certainly like you to visit again, Awais, because we need to learn more about
No.
this topic. And thank you so much.
So
Couldn't
now I can
appreciate you.
revise my last before my teacher kicks me out. My teacher kicks me out of the meeting. My last comment. So yeah, means this time I have shared some premise. So now you know a little bit about. Next time I'll get a bit more technical. So let's see
Yes.
what
Great.
the problems are there. So and how we can explore some possible solution. Thank you so much, everyone. It was great delivering it. Even though I did not have a lot of time, I was involved in a very important project, and I just came in last night. So next time I'll try my best to put in more effort in this.
Wow. I think you did stunningly well considering that you didn't try at all. I don't know whether you're trying to impress us or or it's an innocent comment.
Yeah,
But I think you spoke phenomenally well. Your thoughts were well connected. If I assess your keynote as a Toastmaster, you're perfectly fluent. Your content was perfectly aligned with the audience. It was easily understandable. It was in logical order, and except for the Zoom freezing part, I didn't hear any, you know, any major hiccups in your speaking? Yes, there were a lot of filler words while you were answering questions, but that's true for all of us. So no worries there. Thank you so much once again. Everybody, please put a bit, let's give Wes a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And a bigger round to his teacher, who taught him to speak like this. Certainly, right? Right, Wes? Because
Okay.
he's acting that way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Wes. And now, without further ado, let's go to Toastmaster Mason Heather for a 5 to 7 minute Geek of the Week segment. So over to you, Toastmaster Mason.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Wait a second. Okay, so let's start. So since this is the first time I'm delivering this, bear with me, guys. I would like to discuss the book named Digital Fortress. It's a science techno fiction book novel by Dan Brown, and it was published in 1998. It's a fictional novel and explores themes related to cryptography, code breaking, and national security. How many of you are familiar with NSA? Okay. So it's America's National Security Agency, and before it was made public, it was working in secret in surveilling all of the public of America. Before the invention of email and encryption, online encryption, the criminals across America or around the world were using the traditional sources of like simple cryptography codes or letters or maybe pigeons, and that was easier for them to surveil. But then came the email and encryption. It got quite a lot of difficult for them to surveil the criminals and the terrorists around the world. So they embarked on a project to break those encryptions. So they invested $2 billion and 3 years into a machine called Translator. And it was a behemoth of a machine, and it used brute force attacking. Brute force attacking is a method of trying all possible combinations into a code. Let me put it in terms, I have some notes here. Let me put it in terms of possible combinations for some pins. For a 4-digit pin, that makes 10 to the 10 raised to power 4. That makes 10,000 possible combinations. So a brute force attack would try all 10,000 possible combinations. And for let's make it a little difficult, for an 8-digit password, if it would try if they're all lowercase, alphanumeric, and numbers, all of those possible combinations. So that would make 62 characters raised to the power 8. That would make 218.3 trillion possible combinations. And this was such a machine, it was a supercomputer, that it could even break this code. It would take around 2.53 days for this machine to break that code, but it will break that code as well. And it was a secret project, and they were surveilling all of the emails and all possible online communication. Then came the bane in their existence. It was a code. It was an encryption called rotating ciphertext. A rotating ciphertext is it keeps changing while you are trying to break it. It keeps changing the ciphertext. Cipher. Let me for the people who don't know about ciphertext and clear text. I'm sorry I didn't explain it before. Clear text is a simple message that you have, I am Misam Heather. This is clear text. And if I encrypted, it would make it all jumbled up so that you cannot read it without that encryption key. If you have that encryption key, then you can read it. So rotating ciphertext, that is something that keeps changing the ciphertext and you cannot break it with a brute force attack. You cannot uh, predict the patterns or the possible combinations. So there was the villain of the book that made a rotating ciphertext so that NSA, at that time it was not public. So he wanted to make them public, and he wanted to let the public know that they are surveilling everyone. And since it's a privacy issue, this would be a catastrophe for them. So they wanted to break that code. And what that code did, it put that machine into a infinite loop. And the heroine, or the main character of this book, Susan Fletcher, was trying to break that rotating ciphertext, but since it went into an infinite loop, it was not possible. So this is a science fiction. This is techno fiction. In real world, it is not possible. Well, I remember reading this book and I was like, "Wow, what an amazing technique! Wish I could just make it myself." But I myself can only do this Caesar cipher. If you guys know about that, you just move one alphabet to a few characters forward. If you want to write A, you would move to C. So instead of a Caesar cipher of 3 would write C. And if you know it's a Caesar cipher of 3, you can move 3 steps backwards and decrypt the code. But such an encryption is not possible in the real world because of the limitations. And plot twist, it was not even possible in the book. It was just it was just a backdoor virus that was designed so that the NSA would reveal itself to the world, and it almost succeeded. But the villain of the book died at the end, and they had a key to break that code as well. So they were able to get that key. So why it's not possible in the real world? Because you have to because encryption has to maintain a certain connection with the sender and the receiver. And if you are constantly changing the key pattern, you have to make a constant connection with the sender and receivers. If let's say Toastmaster Talha and I are trying to have an encrypted discussion, and we want to use that rotating ciphertext, we have to be in constant connection and synchronized with each other. And that would require a lot of computing power, overheating, and a lot more. In the current scenario, in the current computing powers, even with supercomputers, it is not really possible. It could be possible theoretically in quantum computing, but currently it's not possible. And just the current encryption standards are more than enough for our security. So overall, the current encryption standards like AES, Advanced Encryption Standards, RSA, Revis, Shamir, Adelman, if you guys know about that, are more than enough to provide security. And since I already told you guys that for an eight combination password, it has 218 trillion possible combinations. Currently, there is no such computer that can break that kind of an encryption. But with quantum computing, it might be possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mason, for outgeeking even a Westbud. And I've read the book, and the only thing that I don't like is that you gave away the twist. But anyhow. Okay. Yes, Toastmaster Najim.
I'd like to share some story or maybe an incident that we're talking about cryptography and fiction book apparently, but I'd like to say something about a non-fiction. And this was before the days of the computer, before the days of the internet. Am I audible? Because I can see everybody else is frozen.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are.
See, okay. My father was worked in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and he was involved basically in cryptography. He was posted to different countries in the world, and the job of the cryptographer was basically to receive and send the communication between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the government of Pakistan and the different stations in the world. Now, this was the days before there were any computers available or before the internet. So they probably used the telephone lines, and the messages were encoded. Now, these cryptographic machines were made by a Swiss company. This was the only company in the world which supplied cryptographic machines to every country in the world. Now, what is interesting is that a few years back, this company is probably gone out of business now, but a few years back, I found out that actually the backbone of this cryptography was given to this company by the CIA. So the CIA always had access to all the communication in the world made between the embassies and the countries' head of ministries. That's very interesting. I mean, I thought I'd share it with everyone. That's all.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's amazing, Toastmaster Najim.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najam. And definitely, even I guess NSA is right now listening to us as well. So I won't say anything bad about them. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's quickly move on to the next segment. And it is a surprise because we are slightly shuffling the order of the meeting. Without further ado, as we always know, Quantum Leap has a 10-minute table topic session as an integral part of its meeting. So today our table topics master is one of the charter members of Quantum Leap, and yeah, I won't spend any time introducing him because everybody knows him. DTM Sudarshan, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Hopefully, I am clearly audible and visible. My role today, thank you. My role today is that of being your table topics master. In my role, I will be posing questions to you which need to be answered in a maximum of 2 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds allowed over and above that. The minimum time that you need to speak for is 1 minute, and the answer to the questions can either be your agreement, your disagreement, or a completely new take on what you think should be the question itself. So basically, the canvas is wide open for you. You can paint it in any colors that you choose. With that being the background, all of the regular rules of Toastmasters will apply, which means taboo topics do apply, which means the R counters and the grammarians are keeping a keen ear out to listen to all the R's and ums and the filler words that you may use. That is, in a nutshell, what table topics is going to be. Now, let's get cracking. And may I see by the raise of hands who would like to participate? So the first contestant or the first speaker in table topics may please unmute or just raise your hand virtually so that I can pose the first question to you. And DTM Talha, if you can just help, since I'm connected through my phone, I may not be able to see the entire set of participants.
Okay. Would you like to have a go? Toastmaster Samreen? Okay. What about you, Toastmaster Cyril?
No, Toastmaster Samreen has just unmuted herself.
Yeah. Samreen is
There are
there.
two
Right.
Toastmaster Samreen in the meeting right now.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. So I don't know
I should have
if it's me.
I should have been more specific. Yeah. Okay. Over to you.
Thank you. So Toastmaster Samreen, the first question that I want to pose, and it comes out of the keynote speech that we heard today. the old saying is every coin has two sides. Just so, any clean energy comes with its own downsides. Do you agree? Any clean energy comes with its own downsides. Do you agree? Toastmaster Samreen Chuktai.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the table topic master of the day. So, as we have seen the human nature, we tend to overdo everything. Like we extracted coal out of the earth for centuries now, and what it has done to our environment and our climate. Then we started on water, and we started building dams and stuff, and then we flooded the countries. Later on, now we are moving towards the solar energy. So his pathetic looking ceilings with all the solar panels, which has changed the climate such that Multan is now 51 degrees centigrade in summers. So what we have done, we have used all those clean energies and now changed into a disaster. And that is the reason I asked the question from Dr. West. Being an pessimistic, I thought probably we humans are going to overdo this drilling. And when we disrupt the mother ecosystem, everything is a disaster. So I think whenever we get a new clean energy, we tend to overdo things and make it a disaster. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with your take. Thank you so much. So for the next speaker, who is it going to be? If no one puts their hands up, then yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I think Cyril, would you like to have a go?
Toastmaster Cyril. Perfect. Toastmaster Cyril, the question to you also comes out of the keynote, and they say the F word is not a polite word to use. And in this context, do you really believe what Dr. Awais told us about fracking? Do you really believe fracking could be a solution, or we are fracking ourselves to eternity?
Wow. When you mentioned the F word, I certainly thought of another F word, and I was wondering how do I fit that in? Well, I wish I could give an answer on the fracking bit. Unfortunately, I cannot because I missed the session. But let me put my native intelligence to it. I used to be part of an infrastructure funding firm, a private equity fund that funded infrastructure development all across India. We instinctively tend to look at anything that digs a hole into the planet with some kind of a sconce, because you have no idea what kind of tectonic shield that you're actually disturbing. You have no idea what kind of water belt that you're actually disturbing. You do not know whether you're drilling into an area that is sensitive, which could lead to some kind of an earthquake kind of situation there at that point of time, which could be dangerous for the house that's being built itself. Well, there is nothing like drilling into our own planet for energy. It's energy that comes in from within. But then if we have other resources like wind, which can be further strengthened by planting more trees, there are two things that we do. We either take care of the planet for our children, we are caretakers of the planet for our children, or we live as if it's our right to live in this planet, because we all have a right to live in this planet. I prefer to go by the former route. Therefore, planting trees, though those benefits will come only after 20 years, I guess we have a responsibility to do that. I do not have an answer in terms of cost-benefit analysis between the geothermal side and the wind farms. That would be interesting to have that analysis. But my own native intelligence would suggest that anything that disturbs, anything that drills, anything that punches a hole into the surface of the earth we should be careful about it. Because as they say, it's not just a planet, it's home. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. It indeed is home. And I certainly don't want to live in a holy home. I might live in a holy home, but not in a HOLEY home, for sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next speaker, please, if I may have.
Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Toastmaster Imran.
Yes.
The question I would like to pose to you comes in the form of an old adage. And the old adage goes something like this. The more things change, the more they remain the same. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Do you agree? Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Okay, thank you so much for such a wonderful topic. I don't want to agree with that because once you are a child, you are quite adorable and lovely. Then you become a teenager, then you become pain in dash to your parents because means your energy level is so high and so high that nobody, especially the parents, I can imagine. I'm father of 3. They become so irritable that it's difficult to bear them. So again, the change, and then you become old person. Then your children, they don't want you to be exist, and honestly, you don't want to be exist in that part. So I totally disagree with what you said. Could you please repeat that sentence so that I can?
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
Yeah. So as we change, we cannot remain the same because change has that capability that that cannot put you in the same part. So I totally disagree with that. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How much time do we have? Can we take 2 more or 1 more?
We can take 1 more.
Great. So for the last topic, could I invite Mason, our Geek of the Week? So Toastmaster Mason, the question to you comes out of your own geekiness that you displayed today. The stronger the cipher, the quicker it gets broken. The stronger the cipher, the quicker it gets broken, because innate intelligence is greater than artificial intelligence. Do you agree? Innate intelligence is greater than artificial intelligence. Do you agree, Mason?
For you, for your sentence, innate intelligence is greater than artificial intelligence, I would say definitely. Artificial intelligence is something that tries to mimic our own intelligence. And regarding the first part, the former part of your topic, that stronger the cipher, the easier it is to break, I completely disagree with that because that is the whole purpose. If you have just as I told, if you have just a 4-digit pin and there are just digits 0 to 9, it would have 10 to raised to the power 4 possible combinations. That would make 10,000 combinations. And even with a normal computer and some of your innate intelligence, you can develop a brute force attack. There are actually already available brute force tools that can be applied to such a combination. But if it's a bigger cipher, 8, usually these days they become a pain in the backside when you're trying to put in a password, and they would ask it should have a lowercase letter. When you put in a lowercase letter, they say it should have an alphanumeric character. Then you put an alphanumeric character. You get frustrated, but it's for your own security. 8 to 12 characters. You have alphanumeric characters and digits and capital letters and lowercase letters. So all of those combined again, that would make, if it's 8-digit password, it would make 218 trillion. And if it's 12-digit, it would make more than 350 trillion combinations. So if the bigger the cipher, the more difficult it is to break. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, that brings us to the close of today's table topic session. Each of the speakers has demonstrated what Toastmasters envisages as table topics. They've taken the topic, they've addressed it head on. Some have agreed, some have disagreed, some have brought in a newer perspective, all of which ultimately results in us learning a thing or two about the topic at hand. Thank you very much for handling the topic so gracefully, each of the speakers, and thank you for having me as your table topic master for today. With this, I hand the stage over back to the Toastmaster of the day, ETM Talha. Over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Sudarshan. That was an absolutely astounding table topic session. And I must commend the participants too for addressing. And yes, it did end up increasing our knowledge tenfold. And that was perhaps the geekiest table topics in the history of Quantum Leap, which is saying something. So I'm floating the poll for best table topic speaker. Obviously, you'll vote for yourself, but vote for one person besides you as well, so that we can have a result. So everyone, the poll will be floated right now. And reminder to vote for at least 2 speakers. In the meantime, now let's move on to our prepared speeches. Our first speaker is DTM Irfan Farooqi. I am his lead evaluator, and I'd like to assemble on the spot a panel of modular evaluator. So, and let me mention that this modular evaluation format is unique to Quantum Leap. It is an invention of DTM Sudarshan. So, and that's what sets Quantum Leap apart. It's one of the things that sets Quantum Leap apart. So, I would like to request DTM Sudarshan, would you be like to be one of the modular? Yes, you would be. Great. So, I would like to appoint Toastmaster Imran Rana as the visual evaluator, DTM Sudarshan as the auditory evaluator, and okay, Toastmasters Samreen, you are the perceptible evaluator. Perceptible means that how the speech affected you, right? As a listener, what did you detect? What did you detect in speech? And Toastmaster Najam, you are requested to be the language and structure evaluator. All of these modular evaluations will be 1 minute each, right? So keep that in mind. And they will follow the mainline evaluation by myself. So today, ETM Irfan Farooqi is attempting the project, Understand Your Leadership Style. In this project, the speaker, during the completion of this project, the member responded to a questionnaire to help identify his or her primary leadership style. The member will deliver a well-organized speech about some aspect of leadership styles. They may choose to speak about their own leadership style or leadership styles in general. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. So everyone, please put your hands together for DTM Irfan Farooqi. A sheep, DTM Irfan Farooqi.
First of all, I would like to know whether I'm audible or not, because that is
yes,
one of
you
the
are
important
audible
criteria.
and visible.
Thank you very
and
much.
The Toastmaster Imran is the timer, so make sure you can see his window.
Yes. So since we are not too many here, let me see. Yeah. Let me shift it to gallery mode. Yes, now I can see everybody. Fellow Toastmasters, as a child, the concept of leadership was altogether different from what I have perceived later in my life. In my childhood, Pakistan was ruled by General Ayub Khan. So for me, leader was a general. And as a child, when I thought to be a leader, sometimes I thought, oh, should I be a president of the country? The first thing that came into my mind is that for that I have to be a army soldier. Army soldier? No, not acceptable to me. From my childhood, I had no interest in Pakistan Army, or for that matter, in the uniform people of any field. I'd never liked that type of personality. And for that reason, I had never liked, and I have never accepted it as possible for me to become a leader of the country. I will not be in army, I will not become a general, I will not become the president, I will not be a leader. Then after some times, when the election of Ayub Khan and Fatma Jinnah, we were very little kids, and my father was a strong supporter of Fatma Jinnah. And we all family members and our surrounding people, we were on street for Mohtarma Fatma Jinnah. I was a little kid. Then I realized that leaders can also be non-army personnel. But over a period of time, I was proved wrong, at least in my own country. To be a leader, it was proved again and again, you have to be an army general to be a leader here in this country. For me, the leadership was only political leadership. And for that matter, with the background of my family, with the background of grooming that I received from my family, we were not outgoing people. I was not trained to be aggressive in speaking, in communication, in talking to people. Rather, I was forced by my community and surrounding to be an introvert person. Then as I grew older, I started learning management topics, and to be very surprised when I learned this topic in Toastmasters. And I found that there is a questionnaire in this project, and if I reply, they will evaluate my personality. I was very happy. I applied them to the best of honest way I can. And the answers were so close in first 2, 3, 4, 21, so 22, 21, 19, 18. I was again confused. Which type of personality, leadership personality do I have? Rather, I had been thinking for all my life, am I a leader or am I only a follower? And I always believed I'm just a follower. When I started my career in an organization, I was given a role to lead a certain group of people. At that time, a new realization came to me that in terms of physics, I would say that there are kinetic energy, there is kinetic energy, there is potential energy. So leadership roles are so different. Sometimes you have a potential to be a leader, but sometimes you are placed at a position from where you can generate energy or you can generate your leadership roles. But for that, you have to make a movement. You're placed on top. If you start rolling, you will create energy. So I was placed at a leadership role. Analyzing through what I read in literature and particularly in Toastmaster literature, two important aspects of leadership came in front of me. One of them was democratic, the other was coaching. Now, realizing my whole life, evaluating how I have behaved in my life, I would strongly agree that yes, these two styles are my leadership styles. I was not a born leader. I was positioned to lead people who are sitting on a particular position in organizations. With that, what have I already done in whole of my life? I don't take one-way decisions in my life. I always involve people while taking a decision. I never force myself upon to my followers. I don't say my way or highway. It's not my style. I always try to take people with me. I always try that the best decisions are those which are made with the involvement of people. So I agree that yes, democratic style is my very strong style of management. And it became more authentic. This opinion became more stronger when I got married. Because every married man has, when he decides to marry, he decides to lose his decision-making power and hand it over to others. And then you get children. And when you get older, your children start telling you, this is what you have to do. This is you don't have to do. You should do it. You should do it. You did it wrong, and you did it wrong. It's hard to hear that, Dad, you did it right. So democracy, there is no survival without democracy currently in my life. The other thing is coaching. My best desire in life is to facilitate people in their learning processes. If I can be of any help to my followers, that they learn something not only from me, but from any place else, I would be a very happy man. Having read all this stuff in Toastmasters particularly, I have understood that leadership is a different phenomenon. Sometimes it is good to be a sheep, follow the leaders, and sometimes it is good to be a leader. For being a leader, you don't have to possess certain qualities. For me, the best quality is take people with them, help them in learning their best ways of life. They will accept you as a leader. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, DTM Irfan. And now I'll start with my evaluation. First of all, what I loved about your speech, DTM Irfan, was the counterintuitive title. We were preparing ourselves to hear about leadership, and the title of your speech was A Sheep. And that instantly piques anyone's interest who is curious that, okay, now what is about to come? You started with a trip down memory lane and great examples of Pakistan's political scenario at that point in time. And you added humor to the speech as well. You had you introduced the idea that, you know, in order to be a leader, you have to be a general, and you had no interest in being a general. You described the leadership styles very well, and you also brought in humor. First, by your own lack of interest in being in uniform, and secondly, by introducing the idea of getting married and having children, and then our control completely slipping off from whatever we are doing. So it was slightly melancholy, but it was also humorous. And I absolutely adored your conclusion, which was that it's not necessary to be a leader all the time, or even try to be a leader all the time. And this is something that I've discovered over the past years, and I've been speaking about it on every forum. But apparently many Toastmasters don't like this idea that, leadership is not the end of the world. If you're not a leader, it's not the end of the world for you. And thank you for bringing that to the surface, that you don't have to be a leader in all situations at all times. Sometimes, yes, it is far more fruitful to be a sheep. Thank you for that, for bringing something new. A few improvement areas. First of all, when you went down memory lane in your childhood, perhaps for members of the audience who were not present at that point in time, which is pretty much all of us, you could have mentioned the year, because then they would have connected that, okay, late 60s, that would have been a connection. Secondly, you could have tried a dismissive gesture and said, oh, not for me. So that brings me to my challenge for you, that you try to break out of your speaking style mode, right? And try to be more expressive, employ more gestures, more facial expressions, amplify everything. I know it's going to feel artificial in the beginning. I went through that, and you'll even feel like a fool, right? But and you you don't upgrade your skills unless at some point you feel like a fool, right? So that's my sincere suggestion to you, that in order to break out of this slightly monotonous speaking style, amplify your gestures, amplify your facial expressions and vocal expressions, and again, that will do full justice to your always excellent material. So with that, I hand over the floor to the first modular evaluator, Toastmaster Imran Rana, who will do the visual evaluation. So over to you, Toastmaster Imran.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, first of all, to DTM Irfan, I really loved the speech. Your gestures were composed and calm, and you delivered the whole speech with great confidence. So it's a great transformation, I must say. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole speech. The background was quite amazing. The blue background especially was quite amazing, but we could see the door and the wall. So try to have the whole blue background to your screen. Your visuals, especially your facial expressions, your hand gestures, your eye contact were spot on. And your hand gestures were perfectly aligned with your speech. Only few suggestions that try not to clasp your hand. Maybe you can steeple them. Overall, a wonderful speech. I thoroughly loved the speech. Great transformation once again. So over to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much for auditory evaluation, DTM Sudarshan. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lead Evaluator. First of all, I would like to congratulate DTM Irfan Farooqi for not just becoming vulnerable in front of all of us, but to bring back memories. Just to tell the lead evaluator, I am closer to the incidents that he described in his speech than probably you are. So I could visualize them coming alive in terms of what transpired. From a purely auditory perspective, what I really liked, and some of you might have noticed that I closed my eyes in the middle of the speech. I am a child of the radio, and I have listened to great speakers on the radio and felt the emphasis of the words. Today, DTM Irfan's voice made me feel exactly that. If I was not looking at him and I was just listening, the emphasis of each of his words were coming through clearly. There was a lot of deliberation in the speech. The speech was delivered at a pace which was designed for each of us to absorb the words and ruminate over it as he went on to the next segment of his speech. Each segue that he took also was done in a conversational manner. To me, a speech is a conversation between a listener and the orator. And today's speech was an example of that. There were no flourishes. There was no lilt to the voice. There were no grandiloquence in the speech in terms of stentorianly shouting or dropping it to a level which is a whisper, which a lot of Toastmasters do. So I would like to commend DTM Irfan for speaking the way a speech should be delivered. Thank you very much for that. And back to you, Mr. Lead Evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Sudarshan, for that absolutely beautiful auditory evaluation. Lots of food for thought, I'm sure. And now moving on to our perceptible evaluator, which will be about the impact the speech made on the listener. Toastmaster Simri.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The thing I say, the word I say after the speech is about, and what I perceive about my speaker is humble. He is a humble person, but with great leadership skills. The way he engaged the audience for 5 to 7 minutes and made us think how he travels, how he transformed from thinking about being being a leader and not liking the army personnels, then transforming into his career and placed to a position where he could be a leader. He did not claim to be a leader. He said he was placed in a position where he was a leader. That made me think he has leadership skills, but he just need to find them. When he was placed in those positions, he was able to perform as a leader. And then he transforms to other aspects of his life about him getting married, losing the control with the wife and children, giving a little comedic twist to his speech, which makes it even more amusing. So overall, the perception was a humble leader. But I felt like we were going through a story, but there was no engagement. There was no exchange of data between the audience and the speaker. So next time, I would encourage you to bring up a question so that we all, if someone is sleeping, they can just wake up and answer you. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Samri. And let me first take this opportunity to commend on your eloquent and heartfelt evaluation. And also, if you could contact Toastmaster Samri Mukhtar, she's supposed to speak next. If you could remind her, that would be great.
Actually,
yeah.
Isn't it's Samreen Akhtar is the speaker?
Oh,
I
Yeah.
am the one who is going to speak. I thought she is also speaking.
No. All right. Okay. So a tale of two Samreens continues.
Oh, that is something we confuse the word for a long time.
That's absolutely delightful then. And moving on to our fourth modular speaker, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, lead evaluator. First, I'd like to start with a protest that we shouldn't have TDM Tala as the lead evaluator because he leaves very little else for the others to say. But I'm supposed to speak about the language and structure of the speech. So I must say something. You had a very simple style, a direct conversation, and you used simple language, which is always good, using small sentences and structures. That's always good for an audience, especially an audience which is composed of people from different professions or different levels of skills. And then what I liked about your speech was the analogy with physics. That was a very good construction, structuring it with physics, how the leadership roles can be different, as physics can be very different types of physics. But having said this, what I liked about your speech, I've heard probably quite a few of your speeches, and over time, I have seen that you remained at the same structure, the same level. And as DTM Tala said, sometimes it's required to be artificial or sophisticated. It may not appear natural initially, but that stage that you will overcome and you will grow. So perhaps you could, try to bring in a few different words or sophisticated words into your speech, because that will help you be comfortable with that language and structure and overall improve your speaking skills. So with that recommendation, over to lead evaluator DTM Tala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi. And the idea of this is, of course, that the panel evaluators can either reinforce the points in the main evaluation or they can add their own. So you got plenty to add as well. Now, I will not ask the speaker right now for their feedback on the feedback. Rather, we'll save that for the GE session. and instantly move on to the next speaker, who is Toastmaster Samreen Akhtar Chottai. So Toastmaster Samreen already shared your project details, so I'll ask the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Imran, to introduce our project and also build his panel for the evaluation. I will be the timer for this session.
Yeah, Talha, can you be the lead evaluator?
No, sorry, I can't. No,
Just a minute.
I can be the timer. I can be the timer.
Just give me a few minutes. I didn't check this. Okay. So which project are you?
Actually, Samreen shared it in the chat. Dynamic Leadership Path Level 2 Speech 2 title. Yeah, it's understand your communication style. That's the project.
Right. Just a minute, please.
Yeah.
Speech. What's the speech title?
Speech title is, are you sure about my communication style? Because I'm not.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, our next speaker is Samreen Akhtar. And she will be delivering her level 2 project, that is understanding your communication style. And the speech title is quite amazing. Could you please repeat it again, Talha, for one more time?
Are you sure about my communication style? Because I'm not.
So, are you sure about my communication style? Because I'm not. So over to you, Toastmaster Samreen Akhtar.
Toastmaster Samreen, can you see my window? That will be the timing window. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Quick show of hands.
Just a minute. So the auditory part will goes to DTM Talha. And
okay.
Misam, if you can do the perception part means you will have 1 minute, and how did you feel the speech? So you'll just give your evaluation on that. DTM Irfan Faruqi, could we have you as, what are the other roles?
Auditory and language and structure.
Language and structure part will goes to DTM Irfan Faruqi, and auditory part will goes to Toastmaster.
I think we can assign Toastmaster Augustine too. He's back in the meeting if he'd like to do it.
Yeah, sure.
Toastmaster Augustine, could you do the auditory evaluator? 1 minute about the auditory portions of the speech. Okay, then you can stick to your plan, Imran. Yeah.
Toastmaster Najam, you are the auditor.
Auditory.
Or DTM Talha, you had the visual parts, right?
Yes.
Perception part is with Toastmaster Misam, and language structure will goes to DTM Irfan Faruqi. So you can start now.
Okay, over to you, Toastmaster Samreen. Are you sure about your communication? Are you sure about my communication style? Because I'm not. Are you sure about my communication style? Because I'm not. Toastmaster Samreen Akhtar.
Thank you. Quick show of hands. How many of you have taken a quiz where you're supposed to select one answer while every answer seems correct? This is what happened to me when I took the quiz of communication style with Toastmasters. Am I analytical? Oh, I love facts. Am I supportive? I'm practically the family therapist. Am I direct? Oh, so I'm all about getting to the point. Am I initiating? Well, I'm supposed to push some things into action. So, what style am I? All of them? None of them. I'm analytical according to the quiz. That means, but I think it's like it's like selecting a flavor of ice cream when you love them all. So what I decided to look in my own life and find out what my style is. So let's go through my life one by one and see what I can see according to my life. Take work, for example. I am leading a software testers group, and as it might sound very glamorous, trust me, it's not. I am buried in spreadsheets. So there was this meeting where I had to present. Reports were color coded, charts were flying everywhere, numbers were everywhere. And I was in my zone, talking about bug report, bug ratio, test ratios, like a blockbuster. My team sat there blinking. And I thought, oh, I think they're absorbing. But no, they were processing my obsession with data. I'm analytical. That means if you throw me numbers, I'm a happy camper. But life is not all about spreadsheets. So let's move to my another life at home with my 3 nieces. One of them, Mehak, close to my heart. She was about to deliver her icebreaker for her Cavalier Club. So she came to me the night before, terrified and in panic. Khala, I cannot do this. My first instinct was to be direct and tell her, you'll be fine. But I took a more supportive approach. I told her, Mary, I'll be sitting right in the front row, smiling at you. If you feel nervous, just look at me, and gave her a hug. So sometimes you have to be an emotional support hotline just to be validated. Now let's move on to another incident. When the deadline hits the work, the supportive submarine takes the back seat. And here comes full-on direct submarine. So we had a project and we had 24 hours to deliver that project. And there was a release deadline. My team was dragging the feet and I had to lay it down. Team, we have 200 test cases and only 24 hours to complete these. Focus, I need this now. It was like bug hunting Tetris, no time to waste. Sometimes being direct is the only solution to get things done. Now, outside of work and home, there's me, the initiator, who is planning all the social gatherings. Have you ever organized a friends get-together? It's like herding cats. So there was this WhatsApp group where everything was going in circles. Where to go, what time to go. Oh, I don't mind, you just pick. the classic indecision. I figured it out for a week and then I took the charge. Okay, enough. I'm going to select the restaurant. This is the time, and you just need to be there. Funny enough, everyone showed up and we had an amazing time. Sometimes the people need people like me to direct them and make decisions for them. So, what style am I? Analytical, initiating, supportive, or direct? I think I'm all of them, according to the situation. Whether I'm drowning in the data, whether I'm offering hugs, or I'm driving people to do some action. The key is not to fit into one box. The key is to have a toolbox in your hand and know which tool to bring out when the right time. So I think adapting yourself according to the moment is the right style. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm floating the poll for best speaker. Please vote.
Okay, before that,
And over to you, Toastmaster.
thank you so much, Toastmaster Samreen Akhtar, for such a wonderful speech, and it take me back to my old memory when I used to deliver that speech about the communication style, and I thoroughly love the message, and it reminds me the message of my own speech that there's no one shoe fit for all the sizes. You have to be flexible and adaptable to have to alter the communication style. You started with a question mark, and I thoroughly and you grabbed the attention of the audience. The content was quite amazing. All the stories were personal, and personal stories are quite engaging and quite amazing. I really love the way you explain all the styles through your personal stories. You use some amazing words like life is not all about the spreadsheet, so it was quite funny and quite amazing. You use the stage quite well, and I see the hand gestures, the body language were perfectly aligned with the speech. And the speech title was quite amazing and quite funny. And the message that is the crust of all your speech, that no one style is fit for every situation. Where you can improve upon the areas, I felt that while delivering your speech, you were looking some of the time the downward side, and it just took away the connection, the eye contact. So it was quite little bit disturbing, or you may can say that at that time you were disconnected. Throughout the speech, the vocal variety was little bit the same. Maybe could have brought some vocal variety in it. Overall, amazing speech, amazing content, amazing crisp of humor, and the speech title, I must say, and the conclusion was icing on the cake. With that, I would like to ask my panel of evaluator to share their feedbacks. First of all, I would like to go for the auditory part, and that is Toastmaster Najam Rizvi. Over to you. Toastmaster Najam,
You're muted, sir.
Thank you, lead evaluator, Toastmaster Imran Rana. I tried to put the technique of closing my eyes as suggested by Toastmaster Sardishan. And I found that, the nuances and intonation was ideal for the speech. She had a very good, and then she had the pauses in the speech, like pause just before she said, I'm the validator. And so these were right, I think, right in sync with the theme of the speech and the idea that being presented. So overall, I found the speech in the auditory part quite in alignment with the speech's requirement. Over to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najam. Now we'll go towards the visual part. For that, I request DTM Talha to share his feedback.
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Samreen, are you blurring your background or not? Okay.
No, I'm not blurring my background right now.
All right. And did you blur it during the speech or not?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay, great. So I think you were pretty well lit. There was a weird green screen effect for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's the camera. We could see a few ghosting effects around your frame. And that's what made me suspect that you were blurring, but you're not. Overall, nothing much to say except the fact that you were perfectly audible and visible and well lit. And within the limitations, you use the stage quite well as well. One suggestion would be that maybe you could also try going three-dimensional with online presentations. That's one of the advantages. You can approach the camera and then move away for greater impact or to punctuate various parts of the speeches. Over to you, lead evaluator.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha, for the language and the content part. I would like to request DTM Irfan Faruqi to please share his feedback.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Samreen. I would say the accent, the way you talked, your vocabulary, use of the words was very good. The flow was excellent, and you didn't have to concentrate on trying to understand what you were saying, because whatever you were saying, it was so easily understandable. I like that. I would say that as far as construct is concerned, you constructed it well, very well. You went from childhood till growth period. You initiated how you have understood the topic. In your area, I at least that you addressed three areas: analytical, direct, and supportive. But initiating, I didn't find whether you addressed that topic or not. Had you added it, it would have been better. You used very good words like emotional support, hotline. You said supporting goes to the back. Supporting goes to the back seat, takes the back seat. You very well explained when party was not taking a decision, how you supported them. You said very well, have a toolbox in your hand and take out the tool whichever is needed, and adapting yourself to the moment. And overall, I would say all these sentences in your speech are something that we can carry with us. I liked your style, I liked your vocabulary, I liked your language, but you addressed three areas. If you had addressed three, could have done on four, and then title could have been a little smaller so that Imran Rana doesn't have to ask three times what the topic is. Try to reduce it in the size. Back to you, the general evaluator for the session.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Irfan Faruqi. But still, I love the speech style. Every time it brings laugh. For the perception part, we have Toastmaster Meesam. So Toastmaster Meesam, over to you.
Thank you, lead evaluator. Okay, I have two words for the perception. It's first is adaptable, and second is interpretive. And I would also like to add a third word for project managers and everything. She is an agile project manager in her professional life and in her personal life as well. She adapts to the changing requirements of the clients and of her family members. Uh, and overall, a great speech. Again, my perception was that she's adaptable, and I would say that she has interpreted the crux of communication style. And even in all of us feel that when a quiz has all the same answers, I had the same situation in communication style and leadership style. It's basically you don't have most people don't have one single style, whether it's in leadership or it's in communication style. So you have to adapt to the changes according to the situation. You have to communicate according to the situation, or you have to lead according to the situation at hand. So it's always more than one, and as you said, not one shoe fits all, as our lead evaluator said, not one shoe fits all. So you have interpreted the crux of it all, that it's not just one thing, it's all of those things, all of those styles. And now I can say uh, we are familiar with your communication style, even if you're not. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Meesam. Now we would like to give 1 minute to Toastmaster Samir Akhtar to please say a few words about.
Actually, I think let's first give it to DTM Irfan because he was not given, and then Toastmaster Samir.
The DTM Irfan, the stage is yours.
And sorry, one more interruption. Please vote for your favorite module evaluator. Vote for at least 2. Okay.
So if you allow me to vote first, I don't know
Yeah,
where it
sure.
went.
Sure.
I scrolled from my screen. It was visible to me, but no more visible now. I don't know where to find it. Anyway, so let me go to the feedback that I received. It's always good to receive the feedback. When I talk about my feedback and my speech, let me tell you one thing. When I was delivering my speech, my wife and my daughter were sitting in the same room. How can you expect me to deliver a good speech when I'm under the constant watching eyes? And I'm sure as soon as the program finishes, I have to receive a strong feedback, at least from my daughter, telling me what I did wrong, where I was wrong in my English language, and where my accent was not good. So I have to receive another evaluation. Please try to understand. I could not have been a good speaker today because I was under the watching eyes in my home. Moving towards the areas of improvement that are given to me, yes, I understand that at certain times my vocal variety is not so strong. It is monotonous. I try to develop it, but as I was suggested to add some drama effect, and that drama initially looks bad and over the period it grows stronger. Somehow not acceptable to me. Because on the other side, I've been teaching at various universities to very senior, seasoned people. And if I accept that style of drama that will affect my teaching also. And I've been teaching for last about 25 years. That has become my second habit. Yes, there is some in between. That is what I try to do. Sometimes I can add my sentiments. Sometimes I try to improve my voice. But yes, that is a very, very strong area where I need to work upon. Thank you very much for pointing out this. But the solution, not yet very clear. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Okay, great, DTM Irfan, and great to see that you are, mashallah, so confident and eloquent in front of the entire world. except for the people in your home. But I think that's true for most of us or all of us. So yes, over to you, Toastmaster Simri, for your feedback on the feedback.
I love the format of this feedback. I mean, there is one evaluator in most of the meetings who evaluate everything and it's not covered. But when you have multiple eyes looking at you as an evaluator, it's totally a different story. I would say my house is a Toastmaster house, as my niece is also a Toast Cavalier, and I have started mentoring her as well. So there is speech going on in this room, and there is another speech going on in another room. So this is happening all the time, and other people are mostly fed up of it. About the intonation part, which was pointed out by Toastmaster Imran Rana. I have been in the same boat as Irfan Faruqi. I have a very supple voice. I mean, I tried a lot today. This was my hardest try to bring some intonation and bring some drama. It's sometimes it's in our personality we cannot bring drama. But someone in our evaluators in our one of the meetings said that there should be a difference between presenting a meeting and in corporate than presenting or giving a speech in Toastmasters. There has to be some drama. So this was the best I could do with the drama. About the 4 styles, I did mention Toastmaster Irfan Faruqi. I did mention 4 of them. The first one being being supportive. The second one was being direct. Third one being initiator as well, where I was initiator of the get together with friends. So thank you all of you for having a keen eye on me and making sure that I could improve in the next meetings, next speeches. Thank you so much for having me in this format of evaluation. And over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Sameer. And yes, if you look at the 2 evaluations closely, you would see that what I asked DTM Irfan to do, you exhibited, and vice versa, right? What you were asked, DTM Irfan exhibited. So that's the beauty of having advanced evaluations. Now, moving on quickly to the general evaluation part. What I would like to do is that since our general evaluator did not make it, first I'd like to ask Toastmaster Najim to present his preliminary report, and then I'd ask DTM Irfan to share his comments about the meeting.
Thank you, DTM Talha. Well, as would be expected from an advanced club meeting, there wasn't much that I could note down in terms of grammatical mistakes that could be that I could suggest for correction, but just some good usages like somebody used the term back pain to bad luck. I like that very much. And then somebody said, I will fully enjoy. Now here I would suggest thoroughly enjoy would probably be a better phrasing of it. To be exist, the be wasn't required there. To exist would be sufficient. And then change has that capability. That term was used, that phrase was used. Change has that capability. Perhaps change has the capacity would be better. And then the tries was used somewhere. Tries. I think try was the word that was probably better for that particular phrase. That's all for my report.
Fantastic, Toastmaster Najim. Thank you so much. Sincerely grateful for that succinct and absolutely useful report. So over to you, DTM Irfan. Your thoughts about the meeting.
Thank you very much. As a general evaluator, I would assess that meeting started very well in time, although I would say even before time, before Talha joined, 3, 4 people were here before 1 o'clock, and we started the meeting exactly at 1 o'clock. But unfortunately, we are about half an hour late. And I had promised to participate in another Toastmaster meeting, and I'm just looking at my clock to finish here, and then I join them and say sorry to them. So we need to take control of the time. And Talha has been, DTM Talha has been through this in Karachi Toastmaster meetings. Now he has been forced to finish the KTC meeting within 2 hours to follow the same practice in other groups where he is not forced to leave the room. He has a liberty to stay here, but let's restrict our meetings to the agenda time that we have. This was one thing. The other thing is the very important aspect is the participation aspect. Today's participation from the members and ExCom is quite low. People who agreed to take role are not here. So it is good that we manage to deliver these roles to others, but it's not good that people who commit, they don't come in here at the meeting, particularly the regular members and ExCom members. They should give the first priority to this group because they have accepted it. Because nobody had forced them to take the roles of that ExCom. They have chosen it. So now it's their responsibility to be there. So very strong, my strong feeling for those who are ExCom members and who are not there. Yes, everyone has certain responsibilities other than Toastmasters, but Toastmasters is also a responsibility, and that is that we have by ourselves accepted this responsibility. Today's keynote was on a very strong area, very important, very new area. I liked it. I like the personality of Toastmaster, not Toastmaster, student of Umran Rana, Lokhandwala. And I thought maybe he's from India, Bombay. And we watch movies and we find this term Lokhandwala. So I thought maybe he's from India, and I was surprised that he's from Pakistan. Maybe his family originated from Bombay and settled in Pakistan. He has done his PhD and he's trying to find some job in Pakistan. I have all my prayers for the country, for my Pakistan, that he stays here. Whatever he has faced today, disconnection of internet, the basic thing, and I don't know how long he will stay in Pakistan. I pray he stays in Pakistan and gives some benefit to our country. His internet was giving a problem, and one of the reasons of the delay was internet. It was a good topic, but question answers could have been reduced so that we save our time. Table topic was good, but again, it seems that table topic master was not prepared for the table topic because he created the topics from the speeches that were done over here, from the geek of the week and from the keynote speech. It seemed that it was also not very well prepared. Although it was a good meeting, we enjoyed it, and everybody who is here had enjoyed, but it could have been better through little improvement in the controls and sense of responsibility that should be adopted by the members and staffs. I hope future meetings are better than this meeting. Thank you, Talha.
Thank you so much, DTM Irfan, for that comprehensive journal evaluation. Sincerely grateful. So the first thing is that today's meeting, unfortunately, did not have an agenda beforehand. That would have been helpful, when an agenda is floated beforehand. It was shared minutes before the meeting. We knew who were the keynote speakers and who were the speakers, but the other role players were decided on the way, and that added to the time of the meeting. One more thing that added to the time of the meeting was the keynote speakers, absolutely amazing session, and the Q&A session that followed. We exceeded the time. So yeah, those two things, if controlled, would have ensured that we would have ended the meeting on time, or at least on the designated time, because I feel that today's meeting's agenda called for it to be at least 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Because to fit all of those things in, the keynote, the Q&A, the two speeches, the advanced evaluations, the Geek of the Week session, the table topic session, there was absolutely a it was chock full of content. So yes, point well taken that, we should stick to the designated time. If the meeting needs more time, it should be noted on the agenda that this will be the ending time of the meeting. Secondly, yes, I think you're mixing up. Actually, Lokanwala is also, yes, a surname used in Pakistan, especially in Karachi. But this gentleman is Awais Butt. I think you're mixing the two meeting promos that were shared side by side, because once again, due to some cosmic conspiracy, Wordwise and Quantum Leap, despite my best efforts, have ended up on the same weekend. You know why? Because the first Sunday of September, right? It fell on the 1st. But the first Saturday fell today. And for that reason, the two clubs are like meeting back to back. And, every time I've tried to fix the situation, something like this happens. I can only call it a global or a cosmic or God's conspiracy. Anyhow, thank you so much. And now, without further ado, announcing the results. Best speaker today goes to Toastmasters Samreen Akhtar. Congratulations. Best evaluator goes to myself. Congratulations. Best modular evaluator today goes to DTM Sudarshan Sachadri. Congratulations. Best table topics goes to Toastmaster Mason Heather. Congratulations. And finally, the best major role player goes to DTM Irfan Faruqi, the person who took the role on the spot. So thank you for that first. And I believe that despite all the hiccups that we had, I think this was one of the best meetings we've ever had in terms of the keynote, the standard of speeches, the standard of evaluations. And I don't really mind the number of participants as long as those participants are engaged and they take something away from the meeting. So with this, it is my privilege to bring this meeting to an end.